Okay, continuing to catch up about the press briefings, then we're going to move on to some other stuff. Unbelievable video for you today. During yesterday's press briefing, Donald Trump again started talking about masks. N95 respirator masks are in short supply. The less protecting basic surgical masks are also in short supply. That's difficult to say. So Trump floated the idea without any evidence yesterday that he's skeptical about some of the numbers that hospitals say they need of these masks. And he suggested without evidence that maybe they are effectively falling off of the backs of trucks, using other language to suggest, what are hospitals doing with these masks? Are they stealing the masks? So as an example, a healthcare CEO said during yesterday's press briefing, you know, there's a hospital we deal with. They usually use 10 to 20,000 masks a month. They now need 200 to 300,000 masks per month. And Trump's reaction was, are some going out the back door? Are these being stolen? Trump was confused about why so many masks were being used.
For years, 10 to 20,000 masks. Okay, it's a New York hospital. It's packed all the time. How do you go from 10 to 20 to 300,000? 10 to 20,000 masks to 300,000, even though this is different. Something's going on, and you ought to look into it as reporters. Where are the masks going? Are they going out the back door? How do you go from 10,000 to 300,000? And we have that in a lot of different places. So somebody should probably look into that, because I just don't see from a practical standpoint how that's possible to go from that to that. And we have that happening in numerous places.
Trump is incredulous about the increase. He says something must be going on there. Yes, what's going on is coronavirus. They need the masks. They're using the masks. Every time you do one coronavirus test, that uses a mask. New York has 60,000 cases. That's 60,000 masks to do those tests. Every time you interact with a patient in the ER, that's a mask. The nurse, the doctor, the person who checks you into the hospital, the x-ray tech is likely using a mask at this point in time. It's masks every time. And Trump is suggesting maybe there's not really a shortage, meaning he did nothing wrong. Remember, all of this is meant to say he did nothing wrong. Someone else did something wrong. Maybe hospitals are stealing masks, which shifts the blame from him once again to somebody else. Look at how simple the math is, though. Imagine a hospital with a couple hundred nurses and a couple hundred COVID patients per day. If you're using the masks as directed, imagine in one day, 100 of those couple hundred nurses that the hospital may have are working or whatever. 100 patients, 100 nurses, 3 interactions per day, 30 days. That's 1 million masks right there. Now, of course, that's an overestimate. They're rationing the masks. They probably aren't. The full slate of nurses isn't working every day. There's shifts, there's rotation. Okay, but you get the idea. 300,000 masks is very realistic. It would even sound low considering that you've got hospitals that are huge that have other things going on. You do an appendectomy that comes in. That needs to be done. You've got an anesthesiologist and a surgeon and a nurse. That's 5 masks right there. But Trump's instinct is, it can't possibly be that I screwed up. It can't possibly be that I failed to get anybody masks. Maybe masks are falling off the back of the truck. In other words, being stolen by workers. It's not just incredibly disgusting and immoral, but it is another sign of what Dr. Justin Frank has been telling us. The inability to ever take responsibility, the inability to ever say, I may have been slow on something, is part of the slate of disorders that Dr. Justin Frank and many other mental health professionals believe Donald Trump is suffering from. We're going to get to that later. In the meantime, if you're not following me on Instagram, I've been keeping my Instagram light, and I have some very funny, I have a mattress faceplant video on my Instagram that is distracting people for like 10 seconds from the crisis we're dealing with. Check it out. It's on my Instagram at david.pakman. Follow the show on Instagram while you're there at David Pakman Show. Coming up next, is the virus a germ, a flu, or what? Trump still doesn't know. I'd love it if you checked out a YouTube channel we're partnering with. Their content is great and they're good friends of the David Pakman Show. The channel is called Upflip and you can get there at davidpakman.com/upflip. Make sure you subscribe when you're there. If you own your own business, if you're thinking of starting one, if you're interested in entrepreneurship and building companies, as many of you know I am, I think you will love this because every week Upflip gives you sort of an inside look at a successful small business. How did the entrepreneur do it? How was it built from the ground up? The stories are inspiring. I always love learning about how business owners got to where they are. And they share a ton of wisdom about mistakes, what they learned, really great insights. And Upflip uploads new videos every Wednesday featuring a totally new business. Check it out at davidpakman.com/upflip. Link is right down below underneath this video. Subscribe to their channel and click that bell icon to get notifications.